good friend of In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. Coming to you as always from our unbelievable studios is an unbelievable guest and an unbelievable football player and a great person as well, EJ Reader. EJ Reader. It all starts up front. It all starts over the football. And the Bengals have the best you can find taking care of business right over that football. He's the immovable object, and he is a team leader. And this defensive football team kind of funnels through him. There's no question about it. And he is a mentor to a lot of his teammates. And he is a guy that performs at an extremely high level, takes it very seriously. He's accountable. He's reliable. He's responsible. He's a great football player. EJ Reader. A very good friend of In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, joins us once again because this guy dominates in the trenches. That's what I'm talking about. DJ Reader. Hey, proof's in the pudding. We were doing a podcast with Lou Anarumo. Coach, tell us about DJ Reader. Just looks right at us and says, he's the best there is, best in the business. Nobody can do what DJ Reader does. That's pretty strong, man, when your defensive coordinator has that kind of opinion of you, DJ. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it feels good. It's dope, man. I mean, Lou's my guy, real close. Get to talk to him all the time. So, it's always awesome that, he respects the work that you do. And, it feels good. A guy who really, kind of take a chance on me in free agency, asking me to come be a part of his defense, and it worked out. And, he likes what I do, and I love what he has going on as a coordinator. So it's awesome.
You make a great point. Back 5 years ago, you were the guy. You were the guy that got it started. DJ Reader said, all right, I believe in the vision you guys have. I believe what you can put together, because, it wasn't pretty when you decided to come to Cincinnati and to be part of the turnaround. What's taking place here? How rewarding does that feel to you?
Oh, man, it's crazy. As a man, you always want to be a part of something. And I think that's a big thing for me, being a part of a change, being a part of something, being different, especially around this organization, around this, this city. And it's awesome. But, I feel like everybody around here has deserved it, from the players to the coaches to the fans, the city. Everybody's kind of put in that hard work. So it's good to see it come into fruition, man. We just got to keep it going.
It is incredible. I mean, the fan support, how everything has to be so different than when you first came to Cincinnati. When you first came to Cincinnati, what went through your mind, and how, what's been the biggest, I guess, the most pleasant part of what's taken place during the surge here of the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, I went from completely, there was really nobody in the stands, even it was COVID, but even coming out of that COVID year, people were excited the next year, but they really weren't everybody's not oh man, you're gonna win. Those first couple of games, it's still kind of empty. It's not many people there. It's not sold out crowds like it is now. So it's just been different. But you can still tell the sense of pride back then. Even though we weren't good, I could imagine being a fan. It's tough going to a game all the time when the team isn't good and this and the third. And but they still had an immense sense of pride. It's not like you saw Bengal stuff still everywhere. You saw it around the city. You saw, people were still wearing their colors. They were still proud. So, it's been different to see the turn around, that people coming out. We got fans waiting hours to come to practices and things like that. It's kind of crazy, but it's awesome, man. It's awesome to see them come out, be able to support. It's another thing to do. And, it's good when you play in this kind of market and you have really the city on your back, depending on you, of whether they have a good week or not. It feels fun as a player.
This football team is such a close group, and that's always part of the reason for success. Not just talent, but when it's so unified, so bonded. They're big friendships, and it's player to player, it's coach to coach, it's player to coach, it's coach to player. And all watching, even not just out in the practice field, watching the communication that goes on with teammates, coaches. I mean, coaches today. It's really, when I get a chance to listen to some of this stuff, it's awesome, man. The stuff that you guys talk about on a football field during practice, that part of it, that mental part of it, and that exchange of ideas and adjustments and all that. That's huge, and that's real interesting to watch and see.
Man, it's huge. It's comfortable being there as a player, able to talk to everybody, all the offense coaches, all the defense coaches. We're real close with all our coordinators. All the guys are really, really, just everybody around the building's really approachable and pretty personable when it comes to being there, and everybody's present. When everybody's at work, they're present. Like, you can ask them things. You don't got to worry about them thinking about something else. They do a good job of just just being able to separate what time is work time and what time is anything else, and so it makes it easier for us to communicate as people, as players. And I think, like you said, person to person, everybody has a direct line of communication. It doesn't feel like you got to jump through here to go tell somebody this. It doesn't feel like you're jumping through hoops to get some information to somebody. Like, everybody's pretty much person to person when it comes to information, and we're able to do it. And it helps us a lot.
So when you first came into the league as a young player, who was the guy? Who did you look up to? Who was the mentor? Who did you say, I'm going to try to pattern, my approach to the game and everything about the game like this guy?
I think having Vince Wilford, just play style and understanding of what the position was. And I think, JJ, just having JJ of what it is, what it means to be a pro. Somebody who I really looked up to, I actually texted him yesterday, and he sent me some of the most interesting and really, really good advice. As a guy who's towards like the meat of his career, probably closer to the back end than I am the front end, just in terms of like years. But it was just a really, really good, something I really needed, a big paragraph, something I really needed to hear. And, coming from his perspective, it was really just awesome just to see. So, just having those guys in the locker room, Cushion, all those guys, all those guys approach the game the right way. Jonathan Joseph, Kareem Jackson still at it. Clowney, everybody. You had a bunch of guys around who on that defense approached the game the way it was supposed to be approached. So it made it easier for you to draw things from everybody, not necessarily one person, but you were able to pull things from this guy that you like, this guy that you like. Being a young player, that's important, being able to shape your game and having different personalities, having different people around, and being able to really just see what exactly it is that you want to do in this league and be able to see a blueprint for it.
And now it comes like full. It's like the cycle of
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Full
You
cycle.
finally end up in that blueprint. And sometimes it goes the way you think it's going to go, and sometimes it doesn't. I think, as far as my career has gone, I could have never told you on the money side that I'd earn this much, or I could be able to go to the Super Bowl, or those type of things. I think personal accolades, I haven't reached some of the ones that I've wanted yet. So, there's still the blueprint still out there. But, the destination is, what you make it. You end up places that you don't know if you're going to go, don't know what's going to happen. And so I think that's a part of it. I think the journey is the destination every time. So, you just got to enjoy what the journey is and keep putting in work.
And now you're the guy that
Mm-hmm.
young players are saying, man, DJ Reader, what a hell of a player, man. He's had an unbelievable career. It's still going. He's
Mm-hmm.
accomplished so much. And now, they're looking to you to mentor them. What's that feeling like? It's like, you know what it was like trying to get a mentorship with established relationship that way with players. Now the young guys are doing it with you. What's that like?
Oh man, it's
Like
different.
that?
It's different being on the other side.
Yeah.
But now it's awesome. I have the guys over this year. I started to have them over a lot more. Just
Yeah.
getting to know them, hanging out with them, spending more time. I think last year I was kind of in that transition period of like, oh, do I want to do it? Do I not? Yeah. But and then we had a bunch of young guys last year, so they a little bit older this year, and it's fun, man. It's fun. It's fun to see them, see how silly they are, the personalities, the conversations we have just about life, not necessarily even about football a lot of times. But it's also good to be able to help them with football. I think they're pretty smart guys. They pick up on it by example really, really fast. But I think the life things, the life answers, the questions, and shoot things that I can talk about with them, things that they can talk about with me. I think those things are very, very important.
you look at guys like Tufele and Davis who have
Mhm.
had quality snaps, in the preseason. I mean, you almost have to feel a sense of pride in that. It's like, this is your group. You're the leader of this group, and these young guys are starting to respond. I mean, that's got to give you a good feeling of satisfaction too, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, it feels really good, seeing guys go out there and play really well, especially in our group specifically. But I'm like that with all the guys. It's crazy, I'm like that with all the young guys, the two DJs, man, Tyson, all those guys. Like they make plays, and I'm really proud of them. Shaka, all those guys in the middle, little Jalen Moody, everybody. I could go on and on about the young guys we got on our team, and just it's fun to see my group specifically because I know the work those guys put in every day. I watch them every day. I got my eyes on them. But for me, it's a bigger satisfaction of guys who I don't necessarily. I'm not in their individual. I don't get on them. I don't get to help them with certain things. Watch them go out there, and it shows a sense of accountability for the leaders from all the leaders in our team that these young guys are showing up, and it's not a credit to us because we can't go out there and play the plays for them. It's a credit to them of them paying attention. But it feels good as a leader to watch your young guys go out there and do their thing and be confident in doing their thing is the biggest thing. Like they're not just out there just free like freelancing it. They're out there really being confident in what they have going on and working their craft.
Being where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, and getting it done. Right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it's all about. So, is it something where you feel like it has to be verbalized, or you lead by example, or is it a combination of both? How do you go about, telling and showing guys, or do you tell, or do you show more? How do you do it? Okay, here's our standard. This is what we're about. We're even going to raise the bar a little bit if we can. You guys got to be with us here.
I think it's a combination of both. I think there's a fine line between talking too much and not doing enough, and then
Yeah.
there's a fine line between doing too much and not talking enough. I think you can always lead by example and do things. I don't think that ever gets old. But there's sometimes that your voice needs to be heard, and you got to know those moments as a leader. I think that there's never a right moment for that moment, honestly. But like, I think it's something within you. I think every person has those moments where they feel like they're supposed to talk, or they feel like they're supposed to this, or they feel like that. I think as a leader, those moments are meant for you to say something. If you have something on your heart, you're supposed to say it as a leader. And every moment isn't rah rah this and but a lot of moments are teachable moments, and it's not saying. I think as a leader, you got to decide what's needed to be said, when it needs to be said, and it's got to come from the heart. It's got to be pure, and you can't manifest and makeshift different types of energy. You have to have pure energy as a leader, and I think that's a big responsibility. I think it's a huge responsibility as a player because you can mess up a lot of guys going out there being fake and not giving your real attitude, real energy, and your real dedication to this. And a lot of guys who look at you as a leader, and so I think that's something that you got to hold yourself accountable on too.
And I look at this defensive football team, and it's top shelf, man.
Yeah,
And I think the defensive line is probably gold standard for a position group on the team. I mean, you have great players and depth of great players. And man, this D line, it's like got to keep 10. I mean, how do you only keep 9? Should keep 11 maybe. I mean, there's so many guys. It's going to be
a
if you
lot of
make
guys in that room that can play.
yeah,
A lot
if
of
you
guys in
roster,
that room.
you roster on this football team, that's a hell of a deal, man.
A lot of guys in that room that can play. That's you want that. Competition brings the best out of all of us, and it's been really competitive in that room. And not only that, those guys are big, especially the outside linebackers. They big special athletes when it comes to special teams, and they've been doing a great job. So there's a lot of guys putting themselves in position to win, whether it's with us or with not, or without us. They put themselves in position to do great things in this league and keep it going. So man, I couldn't be more proud of them. I'm excited. I'm excited for this weekend. I think they're gonna go out there and have another great third preseason game. So that's really it, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. The defense. We gotta go out there and prove it that we're as good as we think we are.
Yeah.
But it's awesome, like you said, to have depth and guys, and as a D line, we want to be that standard. We feel like we got the guys. There's money in our room. We're excited about our room. we look at each other and compete. And our coach is a hell of a coach. Our D line coach is a hell of a guy. He's going to be competitive. He's fiery.
Yep.
He's old school, and we love it. We rally around him. The young guys, he gets on them a little bit, so they get a little sensitive sometimes, but they've been doing good, man. They've kept their head up. All of them kept their chin up and just kept doing the right thing. So I'm excited.
Coach Avi, he's fun to watch in practice, man. He's challenging guys to get. He wants to get the most out of them, man. He is
Yeah, he
definitely.
does. And
Yeah.
that's the toughest thing. I think that's where I struggle a little bit with the leader because I know, I've been with Hobby for 15 years, going on 15 years now, and so I've known him forever. And it's tough for me as an older guy to try to tell the younger guys to distinguish when he's upset and when he just wants the most out of you as a player. He lets shit go. He flushes it. Once we're off the field, it's over. Like,
Yeah.
but he wants the most out of you as a player. Like he wants the most, and you may go back and forth, and you may bicker, and what I mean, you and him might get into it, but like he's your coach and he respects you as a player. It's not like he's ever gonna do anything crazy, not gonna put no hands on you, not gonna be like he's just coaching
Right.
you tough. And you gotta respect it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And I've grown to love it. Like I've grown to love the growling, the being upset, the diamond push ups when you mess up, the anything. It's just work, man, and it's what comes with him. And when you play for him, you know that it is what it is, and either you're gonna back down from it or you're gonna become better. And I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna back down from that challenge. And he's
Right.
always challenged me my whole life, and it's been productive. That man's never steered me wrong when it comes to coaching, and so as a man, as a coach, I respect him a lot.
Yeah, he's a special guy, man. He really is, and he wants the best for his players. I mean, the way he talks about you guys obviously don't hear. I, I mean, I'll sit down and start talking to him about, Coach, tell me about so and so, and the way he talks about you guys, man, it's like you're literally family. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
is like he will do whatever needs to be done to make sure that his guys are taken care of, man.
100%. Howie's got family, all women for the most part, man. So
Yeah,
he does. He
yeah,
makes sure he takes care of his guys. And he enjoys his time around the boys, man. You gotta love Hob, man. He's awesome. The young guys, they love him. I love him, so it's great. He teaches all of us so much, and we can ask him anything. We can talk about sports, life, and and anything during the rush. He takes time. Every individual player, whether it's me, whether it's Trey, Sam, everybody, like
right,
the young guys, he's pulling us apart aside. If you're messing up, and he's pulling us aside, and he's telling you what he sees in your mess up, and he's walking you through it. A lot of coaches just talk you and do this. Like you can put hands on how you can go out there. He's gonna be like, all right, stab me in the chest, do this and the third, blah blah blah. Like he's really giving you examples by showing you by letting you be there, and he's putting in the time and the work. You know how much time the film Hobby watches just by having the conversation with him.
right, right.
And as a player, you can respect that.
No doubt, no question. So when you look at the two linebackers that both signed
Mm-hmm.
in the offseason, you got Pratt and you get Wilson. If
Mm-hmm.
if you're if you have one linebacker on your defensive football team in today's football that is a three down linebacker, you got to consider yourself blessed. You guys have two. You guys have
Mm-hmm.
two three down linebackers. I mean, Pratt started his career at North Carolina State as a safety. Wilson starts his career at Wyoming as a corner. I mean, you get guys that understand the pass game and can play the run. That's a hell of a deal, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those two. You got Keem behind them, a bunch of guys. Like there's our linebacker group's athletic.
Yep.
Those guys are athletic. They can move around, and it's awesome to have like you said, two, three down linebackers that can do it all. That are gonna be there, and you don't have to worry about them. Like, and they're gonna come fill gaps and make tackles. Like, gonna chase the ball, hunt the ball. Those things are super important. You got Pratt back there. Pratt pretty much yelling out every play before it happens, and sometimes it might take him a while for him to click, but like when he yells out those reminders, when he says those things, you as a player up front, when I hear it and it is that and it's confirmed, oh my god, I'm about to go crazy. Like he says stretch and you step like you're trying to reach me, like I'm about to blow this whole play up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it feels awesome having him back there. And then, having Cowboy, he's going to feel off anything that you do. He's so calm in the huddle, and his demeanor is so good when asking and getting in the car and receiving and clear communication. They just do a good job of working well together, man. And their attitudes have been so positive. When you're young and you try and get that money, you can get a sense of self sometimes, but it's awesome that those guys been about the team and they've been wanting to win, and those things were rewarded from them. They're here and they'll be here for the next few years, and it's exciting. It's exciting about what we got going on. But those two guys, man, they can run, like you said, they can run. They come down and hit, and they're not scary. No, like nobody in our linebacker room is scary,
Right.
and that's a big thing when it comes to hunting contact because we play a physical brand of football.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, so let's go, the back end. The thing that is so startling is how fast everybody is on your back
Yeah,
end. You guys are almost like an Olympic relay team out there. Everybody's running sub 4.3 safeties and corners. It's like, man, this team speed, whew, unbelievable.
yeah, those guys can run, man. You see it all the time in practice. Like
Yeah,
you see it all the time in practice. You see it in the game. I mean, I don't think DJ. I mean DJ. What is it? Turner's been beat on a go ball yet.
right, right.
Shoot, and then you got even the old dogs, Cheeto, Mike, all those guys, like they flying around. Mike Hilton has some of the quickest feet and is so fast in and out of cuts. It's crazy. I've been watching him just this last week, undercut routes, and he is flying on the undercut. Him, JD, all those guys, and then you got Dax coming out the middle of the field who that play. I mean, I don't think people realize how special that first preseason play was. Like, for that go ball on Turner, for Dax to
Yep,
get over there from the middle of the field
yep.
and still have time to really pick that ball. Tyson coming out, pick sixes. There's a bunch of guys out there. Jordan, Nick's in the system. Nick can run. Jordan surprises me that he can run a little bit because I always look at him and think of a little chunky little safety man. But the kids can play. That kid can play, flies around. And my dog DJ Ivy, man, he to play as much press as he does, as sticky as he is, he's right there step for step with everybody on our team. The fastest people, anybody on our team. He just ball skills are crazy. So it's fun to watch him fly around, man. It's a bunch of fast guys you never feel like they beat. Like, if I had their speed, I probably would never play press. But they 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 out there, they physical, they flying around. Man, I couldn't ask for more from these guys. This has been a good group of rookies. Their talent show wasn't the greatest, but when I say come in and work hard, like all those guys came in and worked their ass off.
So the talent show was subpar.
Yeah,
Wasn't that good?
yeah, it was okay. It was very okay. Like
Just average. Yeah.
very average, very average.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I mean, I'm looking in the back end, it's like, all right, how many DBs? You got to keep 10, maybe 11. I mean, there are guys on this football team that could be starting players on other teams that, might not make the final cut on this football team. It's crazy, man.
Hundred
There's
percent,
yeah,
100%. There's a bunch of guys who are going to be able to go somewhere else and find opportunity.
yeah.
There's a bunch of guys, and that is fortunate and unfortunate. But as long as the dream continues somewhere, man, it's huge.
So in terms of tracking and being ready for the opener up there in Cleveland. I guess the drive that you guys are on the football field, 15 snaps, that'll test you. That'll test your cardio and all that sort of thing. But not giving up a point. As usual, you guys get in the red zone. It's like, all right, nothing's happening now. Not only do you hold them to a field goal opportunity, you take it away. Mike Hilton makes a great play, and Osai, finishes it. I mean, what did you think when you looked at the tape of that drive?
It wasn't that bad. Just a few things we got to clean up. I think guys just being aggressive. It's early. Everybody's aggressive, wanting to hit something. We're only playing, dude. You go out there with that. Oh, you're gonna play one series, and everybody on defense like, oh, that series is gonna be 3 plays. They're just gonna 3 and out, pushing. So I think it was good. Guys a little hyper aggressive. I felt good. Guys look good. And the end of the drive, the way we always end it, and guys nutting up and being there, and when tough gets going, like that's what happens. Like we start going and going hard, and got a pass breakup, and we're opportunistic defense, man. It's what we've always been. We just wait on guys to make plays, and they get made. I don't think anybody's like pointing the finger like who's gonna make the play, who's gonna make the play. I think more so guys are like I'm gonna make it. Everybody's like I'm gonna make it.
Right.
And then when everybody has the mentality, the play ends up getting made.
I guess I hate to ask this question, but I guess I'm going to ask it. Is there any player that's caught your eye? It's like, oh, I knew this guy was going to be good, but man, not like this. Or, boy, this guy came out of nowhere. Look at this dude. Is there anybody that's having that kind of camp in your eye? Or are
I think I would say honestly, just the DJs, both of them. Like,
yeah,
I knew both of those kids were good. They could play, and for different reasons, different ways, do I think that they're both going to be special players in this league. One being explosive, he can really, really run. He's sticky. He's confident. He doesn't panic.
right.
He plays the ball amazing in the air. He's not like the biggest guy, but it's not like he's small. He's not like huge, but he's not like he's like, oh man, frail and you're worried about him.
Right.
And then the other one, being a 7th-round pick, it's not that like people don't expect much of you. It's just like, it is what it is as the pick wise, but you come in and you're working and you're very positive, very, very good kid. That means a lot. And then, you making plays all over the field. Everybody's gonna fool with you and everybody's gonna respect what you got going on. So I think those two guys have been really, not knowing much about them. I had no idea about them. I didn't know anything about them. Not like a Big Ten football guy, and I don't really watch the U no more. It's not the early 2000s.
Right.
So I didn't know much about them, but it was good to see, like, just them come in and do their thing, really, and it's pretty impressive. I guess I would say Andre too, the receiver.
Yeah.
I knew that kid could play. Didn't know, he's gonna get open as much as he does and create the separation that he does, and he's an extremely impressive athlete.
The thing about this football team that is impressive to me is you get a lot of really solid people, and that usually means you got multiple leaders. Man, you guys have so many guys that, on other teams would be, that's our leader. Well, it is a leader with the Bengals, but there are so many. There are multiple. That's a good thing when you have in every position group you have multiple guys that get it from a leadership standpoint, right?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of like walls set up, or I guess you would say chains of authority. How it seems, but there's a lot of buffers. Like guys don't. There's direct communication with the top, but there's also direct communication with the guy next to you who is probably a year older or maybe 2 years older. And then he may go ask the guy who's 7 years older or this and that. Like it's funny because you have like subgroups and like where obviously there's guys where you're looking at as leaders in this. But then you got like the T and Jamar and those guys, yeah, they're leaders, but they're also in year 3, 4, and like so they're just trying to figure out on their own. So you're asking them kind of questions that it's just different. The young guys have asked them certain questions they probably wouldn't ask me, or they wouldn't think to ask me about. And that's the awesome part about it. It's cool when you have players at different levels, players at different stages of life, and people in the locker room really, really care. And everybody's trying to reach one goal. So you're gonna have different perspectives, and you're gonna, like you said, you're gonna have different leaders. It's almost like you're gonna have leaders, you're gonna have sub leaders, you're gonna have they like change the command and management. You're gonna have CEOs, you're gonna have managers, you're gonna have floor managers, you're gonna have like those type of things. And that's what happens, and that's how you run a good system, man. That's how any good business is ran, and it's awesome that it's our locker room and it's our playhouse, so we get to get in there, and we're fortunate enough that all those people get to mingle with each other at all times. It's like being in the break room when you're in the locker room. Everybody's in there, and we all get to talk to each other at all times about different stuff that's going on. So it's fun, and it's fun being in a close group like this. It's just fun being in because every locker room I know isn't like this.
That's a great analogy you made. There are leaders and sub leaders, and there are the president, and then there are CEOs and different levels of leaders. That's a great analogy, and that's the way it is. I will say that as a former offensive lineman, I got nothing but respect for your game because you bring it every single play. DJ Reader's a guy that you can count on, man. Accountability, reliability, responsibility, all those great abilities. That's what you're all about, man. And
Thank you, my guy.
oh, the Bengals are. They know that they're very fortunate to have a guy like you right there over the football, taking care of business every single snap. It's great.
You know it, man. In the trenches, man. Just getting that work in.
There you go. Appreciate you joining us in the trenches, man.
No problem, brother.
Have the best day you ever had.
You too. See ya.
Take care. Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.